What are the top 5 best and the top 5 worst teams in the NFL? Just enjoy the chaos, people. What is up, everyone? What is going on? My name is Matthew Leonard. I'm the football boss. Well, I already told you what we're going to do today. We're going to try to pinpoint the best and the worst teams in the NFL. This is all my opinion, because honestly, I don't know. I'm just looking from what I'm seeing, and while I'm mostly watching the Seahawks, though there are some games I have seen in some stats and just from what the internet tells me, though. But I do know a thing or two about the NFL. And as usual, hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Facebook if you want. MATTHEWLEININGER. We're expanding. We're about to expand. I was actually hoping to get some a Twitter and Instagram account, but the person that I was gonna do it kind of bailed on me last weekend, so it's gonna be next week. It's coming, people. It's coming. So let's get right on into it, though. Let's start off with the 5 best, and honestly, don't know. I do have a couple honorable mentions. I have the Cincinnati Bengals, though. Bengals, they look pretty good against the Dolphins, though. Hopefully they're starting to go on the upward spiral now. I do have the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens actually would be on here if they were able to hold a fourth quarter lead. I also didn't even put the Dolphins on here. The reason why is because I'm not sure how good they are without Tua, and then also the way they handled Tua isn't exactly qualify as best. No, and then you have the Minnesota Vikings, though. They still have Kirk Cousins and they really put up a stinker on Monday night. And then that for the fact that Justin Jefferson hasn't exactly been involved in the offense for a couple games. You also have the New York Giants. I mean, it's mostly been Saquon, but yeah, the Giants almost made this list. And then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The reason why I didn't put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is because, while Tom Brady hasn't been the best, though there also have been a lot of receivers that have been injured for the Buccaneers, and then that for the fact that they did not look really good on Sunday night. And hang on. What? What do you want? Ugh. What do you want?
Are we on the list?
No. Justin Fields is barely throwing the ball.
Aww.
That and the Giants sacked you 5 times.
That's not making you want to be on the
list. So, starting in at number 5. Oh, goodness gracious. I have the Dallas Cowboys. If you told me I was going to put the Cowboys on here when Dak went down and the way their offense was just not very good, I would have said you are crazy. Actually, I probably would have called 911 and sent you straight to the infirmary because I would be concerned about your brain. But yeah, the Cowboys, the Cowboys are good. I'm sure Cowboy fans are like, hey, Dak, take your time. Take your time. Because, Cooper Rush, he's been doing pretty good. While Cooper Rush hasn't been blowing anybody away or anything, that Cowboys offense has definitely been very steady without him, though. Michael Gallup is back. Dalton Schultz is back. CeeDee Lamb. And that Cowboys defense, looking pretty darn good. What's going to happen when Dak comes back? Yeah. They might be really good again. While they do have a very winnable game against the Los Angeles Rams, the big test is going to be in 2 weeks against the Philadelphia Eagles. That game should be very, very good, especially if Cooper Rush is keeping at that level and if that Cowboys defense keeps playing the way they're playing, though. Unfortunately, I do think the Cowboys are... yeah, they're one of the best teams in the NFL. Number 4 might be a bit controversial. You got the Green Bay Packers. I know. The Packers almost lost to a third string quarterback, and the defense and offense has been a bit up and down. But you know what, though? The Packers have won 3 straight, and it looks like they're going on their stride. And honestly, this Packers team really reminds me a lot of what happened last year. They got blown out against the Saints. Wasn't really looking very good. They beat the Lions, though not exactly in a convincing fashion, but it was like, okay, all right, we beat the Lions. And then they ended up beating the 49ers, an undefeated team that was looking really good on offense and defense, though. And that's kind of what the Packers are reminding me of right now. The Packers did not look good against the Vikings, though. Beat the Bears in an okay way, and then they ended up beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which actually beat them out in this list. The Packers have potential on offense, though. They have shown it a couple times, and they obviously have the potential on defense, though. And yeah, I'm sure Davante Adams is kind of regretting going to the Raiders, especially since the Raiders are not looking very good right now. And now that the Packers have David Bakhtiari back, though, that offensive line is looking a lot better, though. Packers right now, while they're not the scariest team in the NFL, they're definitely a team you don't want to play, especially when Aaron Rodgers is playing, though. Number 3, I got the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, the Bills were easily the best team in the NFL for the first 2 weeks of the season, and then they lost to the Dolphins, and then they went down 20-3 against the Ravens. Well, I mean, they did make a comeback to the Ravens, though. And yeah, the Bills, for me, they are still a very good team. They got a lot of potential on offense, though. And while their defense is dealing with some injuries, though, they should be getting Tre'Davious White back soon. So the Bills, they're a team that, when you really think about last year, really had an up and down offense. So remember, they lost to the Jaguars, got destroyed against the Colts. But I still believe enough in Josh Allen, though, that remember when they got to the postseason, they looked like one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And if it wasn't for 13 seconds and some BS overtime rules, though, luckily they have changed, though. The Bills probably would have been in the AFC Championship game, and possibly we would have had a Bills and Rams Super Bowl, and maybe the Bills would have won that game. Don't know. But all I do know is that the Bills are still one of the best teams in the NFL, and even though they did take one loss, though, no Super Bowl champion goes 17-0. Well, technically it would be 20-0, but you know what I mean. Number 2, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if there is any predicting about who's good or who's bad, if you're talking about the good, I'm pretty sure you're going to stick with these 2 teams at number 2 and number 1. The Kansas City Chiefs. They were looking pretty darn good in the first 2 weeks of the season, and then they lost to the Colts, which made absolutely no sense. And then they kicked the ever-living crap out of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. That Buccaneers defense was said to be the best in the NFL, was allowing the least amount of points, was looking very good. Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs held up a fist, and they punched them in the face. Put up 41 points. Patrick Mahomes was absolutely incredible. Offensive line did give up a few sacks, though, but they still were it was a lot better than in the Super Bowl. And while that Kansas City Chiefs defense, I don't think is the best in the NFL, it's a bend but don't break defense, though. It can definitely give up a lot of yards and points, though. But when it does need to come up clutch, it does come up clutch. With Clyde Edwards-Helaire dropped that ball on 4th and 1, I was like, uh-oh, the momentum might be swinging a little bit. And then the Chiefs came up with a very clutch strip sack, though. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, who that Chiefs offense is still incredible. That defense can still hold its own. Kansas City Chiefs are the second best team in the NFL and the number 1 team in the AFC. And then number 1, they are the only undefeated team in the NFL, and a team that I just don't really see any weaknesses on is the Philadelphia Eagles, though. Yeah, the Eagles are a good team. They are a really good team. They can run the ball well. They can pass the ball well. That defense is doing really well. Offensive line's doing really good. Miles Sanders is now that he's looking really good. And the thing that's really scary about the Eagles, though, is basically what they've been doing for these first 4 weeks is that A.J. Brown, he had a fantastic game in week 1. Devontae Smith did absolutely nothing. And then Devontae Smith tore it up against the Washington Commanders, though. And the Philadelphia Eagles, for me, are really kind of reminding me of the Seattle Seahawks in 2020, or at least like offensive-wise. I felt like for the Seahawks in 2020, it was either Metcalf was having a fantastic game, and Lockett, we would get like 2 or 3 catches though, or Lockett was absolutely tearing it up, and Metcalf would kind of be covered well. When you look at the Eagles, there's so many weapons you need to cover though. You got to cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and then if you're able to cover those guys, now you have to keep an eye on that run game and Jalen Hurts extending plays though. The Eagles are a fantastic team right now, and they got 9 sacks on Carson Wentz. So I think there might be some hard feelings. The Eagles right now, they are easily the best team in the NFL. And then here we go to the 5 worst teams in the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I do have a couple honorable mentions. I do, number 1, have the New England Patriots. So the reason why I didn't put the Patriots on here is that their defense is still really good. Devontae Parker actually has been looking solid though, and then of course Mac Jones has been kind of in and out with injury though. So I decided to give them a pass for that though. I also was tempted to go with the Indianapolis Colts, but the reason I'm mostly for the Colts, it's mostly they're just a big disappointment though. I thought they would be in clear command of their division. I was actually really looking forward to the Colts Broncos game on Thursday Night Football. Now I'm going ew. And speaking of the AFC West, you also have the Las Vegas Raiders. The reason why I don't have the Raiders is because while Josh McDaniels is not a good head coach, though, they still have a lot of talent on their team, and they were able to run the ball against the Broncos, and they were able to do well. And then I also have the Denver Broncos. Now, the reason why I don't have the Denver Broncos in the top 5 is, once again, they've mostly been a disappointment, though. Their offense could not do anything for the first 3 weeks of the year. And while their offense did definitely get a little back, Russell Wilson did have some good deep balls, though. It's mostly the fact that they're 2-2. And their 2 wins are barely beating the Texans and then beating the Niners by 1 point, which they obviously shouldn't have won that game. And there's been a lot of drops on the team, though. And that you have your offensive lineman trying to tackle someone by going, huh! So, yeah. But yeah, now we go into number 5. And this is a team that I was really kind of sleeping on. Or actually, this is a team I thought a lot of people were sleeping on. I said they have a lot of potential. They could be really, really good. And, okay, well, defensively, they're actually doing pretty good. But it's the offense that's so bad. Number 5, I have the New Orleans Saints. Currently, right now, they are 1-3, and they barely beat the Falcons, which the Falcons are a lot better than what some people thought. But the thing is, they had to make a comeback against the Falcons, which, number 1, making a comeback against the Falcons is normally pretty easy, unless you're the Seahawks, though. But we don't talk about that. But yeah, Jameis Winston, he's not looking good. He doesn't look like the answer. Their offensive line has been pretty bad. It's not very good. And then against the Vikings, no Winston, no Thomas, no Kamara. Well, although 2 of those things are bad. So right now they're sticking with Andy Dalton. Is Andy Dalton going to play against the Seahawks? I don't know. And the way our offense played though, okay, we're probably not going to put up 48 points to the Saints though, but yeah, they lost the Panthers, and spoiler, the Panthers are on this list. So yeah, the Saints are not really in good shape right now. Number 4, they ain't commanding anything. Number 4, I have the Washington Commanders. First week, Carson Wentz looked pretty good, had a nice little comeback win, and honestly, the wheels have fallen off ever since. So they have lost 3 straight games. Of course, he got sacked 9 times against the Philadelphia Eagles, which I don't know if you know this or not. That's bad. That's really, really bad. And yeah, the defense not looking good. Offense isn't looking very good. And even though they got a lot of talent on the team, though, and I did say at the beginning of the season that I was like, Carson Wentz, he is going to win them games, but he's also going to lose them games as well. Well, he's not really doing either of those. He's just surrounded by just a team that just isn't really using the talent that they have. Just as that offensive line isn't very good. The defense is once again disappointing, though, and yeah, they're not doing very good. And that for the fact that Dan Snyder is their owner and they have that awful stadium that spews poo water. So, yeah, you deserve to be on the worst teams. Number 3, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, Steelers going Super Bowl. You might need to buy tickets to get there. Yeah, the Steelers, after coming off of a thrilling win against the Bengals, they've kind of fallen back down to earth again. Now, for one, you had Mitchell Trubisky as your quarterback, though, and that's not a recipe for success. But even when they finally benched him, though, Kenny Pickett came in. He did throw 3 interceptions, but that for the fact that they also lost to the Jets. The Jets. You lose to the Jets. You should probably be on this list. And yeah, offensive line isn't looking good. The defense, of course, has definitely regressed a little bit, especially since TJ Watt is now out for a significant time. Yeah, Steelers are in a pretty bad shape. And just as I say, you might need to buy tickets if you want to go to Super Bowl. And then number 2, you have the Carolina Panthers. Well, for one, that rule is still your head coach, and there's that. And for the fact that Baker Mayfield is just not looking good in this offense, and their only win is against the New Orleans Saints, which I've already put them on this list for one of the worst teams in the NFL already. And while that defense isn't doing too bad, it's the offense that just is not very good. Baker Mayfield definitely does not look like the answer. Probably going to look for another quarterback again, although I'm pretty sure they don't regret going after Deshaun Watson, though. And then number 1, the worst team in the NFL, in my opinion, though, it's the only winless team. It's the Houston Texans. Now, I will say the Texans are playing in a lot of close games, though, and I do kind of give them credit for that. I do think they will get a win sometime later. But besides that, things ain't going very well. Their only game that wasn't a loss was against the Colts, and they blew a 17-point lead in that game, which isn't very good, but yeah, just the fact that Davis Mills just isn't looking very good right now, and everything that's been bad about the Texans is looking bad right now. Offense is struggling, defense is struggling, but honestly, if the Texans get the number 1 overall pick, they probably won't complain, though, because they can at least take the best player available. But what do you think are the best teams and worst teams in the NFL? I was gonna put the Seahawks as one of the worst, though, but after a performance on offense against the Lions, though, it was a little hard to not put those teams on there, though. But yeah, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. You can follow me on Facebook, MATTAGWLEINGER. Hopefully soon the expansion will begin, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.